In this video, I'm going to walk you through the OpenFn integration platform and demo a solution we configured to connect CommCare, a mobile case management application commonly used by health organizations and community health workers, and DHS2, a national health information system used by governments and large NGOs worldwide. So to recap, OpenFn is an integration platform. It is used by leading social sector organizations such as UNICEF, Population Services International, Pop Council, Niagara, Luala Community Alliance, just to name a few. And while these organizations work across different domains, ranging from agriculture to healthcare to education to poverty alleviation, they all share a common need to connect their technologies and to automate information and business processes. Now, to do that, organizations have leveraged the OpenFn platform as the underlying infrastructure. You can imagine it like a bridge to connect different technologies. And on top of the platform, they've been able to configure data integration solutions, workflow automation, data cleaning pipelines, and leveraging OpenFn's set of security features and audit trail tracking, organizations can monitor these integrations between the different systems they're connecting, as well as track individual information that is flowing between the systems and knowing, which systems are being synced when, who has access to this information, and so on. And so with OpenFn as your underlying integration layer, we enable organizations to achieve interoperability in their data ecosystem. So on my screen here, you might see some applications that you're familiar with, such as Open Data Kit or Kobo Toolbox for mobile data collection, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, MySQL as a backend database or MIS system, M-Pesa for mobile payments, CartoDB, Tableau, Power BI for analytics. OpenFn can connect with any of these applications and can connect out of the box with any app that has a REST API or webhook service. So that really covers all modern web applications. But we do have experience connecting with custom applications, custom database systems built on MySQL, MongoDB. And if your application or data source can somehow get online, it's likely that we can configure a solution that can connect with it, even if you have a CSV file that can be uploaded online somehow. So in this way, we're enabling organizations to build this connected ecosystem and to automate all information flows and business processes between these different applications. So organizations use OpenFn in very creative ways, leveraging this integration and these automation features. For example, if you had a community health worker who was out in the community going household to household doing surveys and registered a new COVID-19 case, as soon as they registered those patient details in their mobile application, if that mobile application was then synced to OpenFn, OpenFn can be configured to set off a series of tasks and automation workflows. So that might include, as soon as the case is registered on the mobile application, we would want that case to also be registered in any connected electronic medical record system or health registry such as DHS2. So that way any patient records are synced with national systems, important health indicators are updated. And at the same time, you might also want to update any other analytics tools. So let's say you have an ongoing dashboard where you're tracking a heat map of cases. As soon as that case is registered on the mobile, you can imagine then a dot on that heat map appearing. And then at the same time, maybe we want to alert different medical facilities or laboratories that have different healthcare supplies. So maybe we'll want to send a notification to OpenLMIS to send updates around potential stock level implications if we're offering treatment. Or perhaps we want to communicate directly with the beneficiary. And as soon as they're registered with the patient details, send them follow-up information over SMS or email. So all of these different systems and all of these different tasks or automated flows can be triggered just by this one action of the health worker registering a patient. And so again, in this way, OpenFn can be leveraged to automate all of these different workflows. But today I want to talk about specifically CommCare and DHIS2. So as I mentioned, CommCare is a very common mobile application used for case management tracking. And it's a really powerful tool for health workers in the field to track patient information over time and to collect important patient details. But once that information is collected, CommCare doesn't have a very powerful backend where we can then analyze that information, aggregate it, or easily share it with external systems. So a lot of organizations that we work with seek to connect CommCare with applications like DHS2, with other CommCare projects, as well as external database systems, analytics tools, other mobile applications. And leveraging CommCare's REST API and data forwarding webhook, we can connect CommCare to OpenFn and then route CommCare data to any of these other applications. So recently, we've been seeing the request to connect CommCare with DHS2. So DHS2 is a health information system used by governments, large NGOs worldwide. It has a really powerful data management platform as well as an overlying analytics layer. So it's great for tracking key health indicators and reporting on that. And so we've interacted with a lot of different organizations that want to connect with this DHS2 system for, reporting, for sharing with external partners. And so leveraging DHS2's REST API, we are able to connect DHS2 to other DHS2 instances for data as well as metadata integration. But we can also connect DHS2 with any mobile data collection tools such as CommCare or other external applications, custom databases, health facility registries, analytics tools, and so on. And so today I want to show you a demo of a CommCare to DHS2 integration that we've set up. So the use case being perhaps you're using Demagi's CommCare WHO apps for COVID case tracking. So we're working with some organizations that are looking at that for doing data collection around COVID-19. And as soon as that case is registered on the CommCare mobile application, we want to route that information automatically to DHS2 so that way we can report in real time on these COVID-19 cases that we're tracking. And so the issue with CommCare usually is, we connect all this information, but then it just sits in that CommCare repository. And there's usually a manual process of exporting that information to a CSV file, reformatting it into the appropriate format, and then uploading it to our health system or reporting system or whatever we're doing. But with OpenFn, what we're going to do is we're going to automate that information flow so that way we can in real time report on these cases that we're logging. So to do that, we first start with CommCare. Now I'm going to walk you through how we set up this integration to connect CommCare to DHS2 in the matter of hours. And again, this is something that your team can get a start on, our team can support you with, but really the benefit of OpenFn is that we can quickly set up these integrations, and rather than spending weeks on building these connections, we can in a matter of hours set this up. So to do that with CommCare, there are two ways we can access CommCare data. The first way is to connect with CommCare's REST API. So you might configure OpenFn to periodically send requests to CommCare to ask for forms or updated case information. The second easy way to connect CommCare to OpenFn is to configure data forwarding in your CommCare project. So if you see on my screen here, there's an actual setting you can go into your CommCare project and set up data forwarding. And what you do is then you point your CommCare project to forward data to your OpenFn inbox URL. So when you register for OpenFn, you get a project and a unique inbox URL or an endpoint address. And so what you can do is just copy and paste that unique URL into CommCare. And then that will enable data forwarding. So as soon as you start submitting CommCare information, that will start flowing into OpenFn. So here again on my screen, I have some screenshots of how I've set this up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip over to OpenFn so we can see how once I've started submitting these COVID-19 cases through CommCare, how that starts connecting to my OpenFn inbox. So now I'm logged in at OpenFn.org and I'm here at my inbox. And so once I've connected my CommCare application to OpenFn, every time a user submits a form or a case update, that information is going to flow into my inbox. So each of these rows is a message which for CommCare corresponds to a form. So I'm going to go ahead and click into a message so we can check out what that looks like. But what we're going to be able to see is the raw JSON that CommCare emits and forwards to us. So if I scroll down, I can see that this is a form from CommCare. and I can see that this is a registered COVID-19 case form. And if I scroll down, I can see, okay, great, we're registering a beneficiary named Tembi and tracking her case information here. So now that I've connected CommCare to my OpenFunction project, and again, as soon as data is submitted, this is going to be forwarded to OpenFunction. What I want to do now is I want to configure what we call jobs, which effectively are integration scripts that tell OpenFunction how to process data that it receives. So here on my screen, I have a couple different jobs. One that we're registering a case in DHS2, so we're creating a tracked entity instance. A second where we're fetching indicator from DHS2 and loading it into another DHS2 system. And the third where we're registering an event in DHS2. So for this demo, I'm going to focus on when we're registering this CommCare case information as a tracked entity instance in DHS2. So if I click into this job, I can see that this job is triggered whenever that register COVID-19 case form is completed. And what this job is going to do is it's going to log into my national DHS2 system, and it is going to run this script to create a tracked entity instance in DHS2. And so here what we've done is we've configured the integration mappings to specify how CommCare data should map to my DHS2 system. So for DHS2 specifically, we might want to specify specific attributes that we want to populate. But here, these are the different attribute IDs that correspond to first name, last name, case ID, the different fields or data points in DHS2. And what I'm saying here is I'm specifying where in CommCare this information should come from. So if I open up my job editor, I can actually see how I build this job. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up an example CommCare form here on the right-hand side. So again, on the right, here's my CommCare JSON data. On the left is my job. And if I take a look at the CommCare data, I can see that here I'm tracking patient case status, family name, first name. And what I've done on the left is I'm mapping these different CommCare data points to where I want these to go in my destination DHS2 system. So in DHS2, we have these different columns with these different attribute IDs, and I'm mapping these different fields there. And so your jobs can be straightforward mappings, but the underlying language is JavaScript. So you can do more complicated manipulations. So here, maybe just a little bit of JavaScript to take the substrings, so just the first part of the date here when we're loading those dates into DHS2. But you can also build your own custom functions. So anything you can do with JavaScript, you can build into OpenFunction jobs. And that allows users to build in complex data cleaning, data transformation, and really, transform and reformat the data in any way that they like, and automate a lot of those manual cleaning processes that are usually done in Excel. Also leveraging OpenFunction language packages, which essentially are our connectors or our API wrappers. We offer a series of helper functions to make job writing quicker. So for example, here you see create tracked entity instance. What's happening behind the scenes is we're actually sending an HTTP request, a post request to the DHS2 API to create a tracked entity instance. But for a user writing the job, they don't need to worry about that syntax for structuring that post request. Rather, they can just say create tracked entity instance. And so in this way, there are a number of helper functions available to users to fast-track job writing. So even if you are not a JavaScript developer, have no developer background at all, you can usually get started fairly quickly with creating jobs, and whether that's leveraging job samples that we have available online or reaching out to our team for some support, we can help you get started with that job writing. So again, jobs can be very complex, or they can be straightforward mappings here as we're mapping different CommCare data points to different destination columns in our DHS2 system. But what we're trying to do here is create a tracked entity instance for every COVID-19 case registered in CommCare. So now that I have my job set up, and I turn it on to start processing, what that means is as soon as CommCare data flows into my system, OpenFunction is going to run, and it's going to send that information onwards to DHS2. So you can see here all these successful check marks that show me that this data has already been processed onwards to DHS2. Now, if there was ever an error, we'd see an error message come back. and then we can actually click into that error and check out the log. But here I'm going to click into this run and we can see the successful log. So we can see that on April 21st, we were able to log into the DHS2 system, create this tracked entity instance, and we got a successful response. And again, if there was an error, we would get that notification. We could rerun the job to reprocess that data and troubleshoot from there. But to show you how this actually works, I'm going to flip over to DHS2 and just show you kind of where we're tracking this information, and then come back to OpenFn and manually process information to show you how it flows into DHS2. So you can see here that I'm logged into my DHS2 system. We have this COVID-19 program where we're tracking different beneficiaries, and I see a list of beneficiaries starting with Ryan that have been registered so far as confirmed cases. So these are all individual tracked entities. So if I go back to my OpenFn inbox, I'm going to click into the survey that was received from CommCare. And I can see that this was a form that was a COVID-19 case registration. And if I click into the actual form data, I can see that this case belongs to Tembi Dube. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to manually run the job that we set up to create a tracked entity in DHIS2. So when I click here to run, we'll start to see OpenFn processing this data, and OpenFn then contains these logs of all transactions. So I can click into the run here to see the success message. So I can see that we logged into DHS2 successfully, created this tracked entity instance with Tembi Dube as the name, and we got a successful response from DHS2. So now once I flip over to DHS2, yes, we see Tembi is now there. So now we have this connection set up between our CommCare mobile application and the DHS2 tracker. So that way, in real time, that CommCare data is going to start flowing into this DHS2 instance, and we'll see each case registered in the field show up here in the DHS2 health information system, where it can then be loaded into analytics and so on. And so with this CommCare integration, even more organizations can leverage this DHIS2's powerful analytics features, indicator tracking, and so on, but can use different mobile applications for the data sources. So it doesn't just have to be the DHIS2 tracker mobile app. You can plug in CommCare, you can plug in Kobo Toolbox, ODK, other CSV sources, you name it. And so in this way, OpenFn enables that real-time case monitoring. Now, this is just one integration flow of many that you might imagine, just between CommCare and DHS2 alone. Again, we can look to reverse this flow. We might connect to other CommCare apps, to other DHS2 systems, or other external systems altogether. But consider how OpenFn might help you to connect your existing applications. What workflows are you doing repeatedly, or what work is being done by a staff member in Excel to reformat information? And consider how OpenFn can be your integration and automation tool to streamline all those different flows. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our team. We'd be happy to walk you through this demo in a bit more detail, or to talk through your specific integration use case. We also work with lots of organizations on prototyping different integration flows, so that way you can see how this might work for your specific project. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can email me directly, or you can actually sign up on our website to try out OpenFn yourself. So you can register today to try out our free plan, or we can help you get set up. We offer free setup consultation for all new users. You can also check out our blog or our YouTube channel for additional videos. We have our GitHub repository for other examples for how organizations are writing jobs and implementing OpenFn to connect with a number of different tools. Thank you for watching this CommCare to DHIS2 integration demo. Looking forward to hearing more about your projects and your questions. Happy integrating.